Oui, bonjour, Monsieur Trudeau. J'aimerais
Hello, Mr.
revenir sur
Trudeau.
la
I'd like
question
to
des
go back on the
compagnies
issue
aériennes.
of the
On le savait
airlines.
précédemment
We've
qu'Air
seen
Canada avait
recently that Air
probablement
Canada
besoin
had
de
for
milliards
about
de dollars de
2.6
billets
billion of dollars
pour acheter les lignes
of
ne seront pas
purchased tickets
rendues.
that will not
800
be
millions d'Air Transat.
used.
Alors, j'aimerais
800 million at
savoir,
Air
votre
Transat. I would
gouvernement
like to know,
rendra-t-il
will
l'aide
your
aux compagnies
government
aériennes
offer help to the
conditionnelle
airlines
au
and make it
remboursement de tickets de
conditional
voyage?
to the reimbursement of all those travels? I heard clearly from many Canadians that are worried about the monies that they've spent already to purchase tickets that they, of course, won't use at this point. We acknowledge the vulnerability of the air transport sector and the challenges that they're facing. And we acknowledge as well those economic preoccupations that Canadians have. We will work with the sector, with the airlines, and with groups of Canadians that are worried and try to find solutions with them.
We recognize how impacted air travel and airlines are by this COVID-19 pandemic. We also recognize that many Canadians are out of pocket for tickets that they are obviously not going to be using. I think we need to have some very careful discussions with airlines, with the air travel sector, and indeed with Canadians who are concerned to try and figure out a way forward where we can ensure that Canadians are treated fairly and our airline industry remains there for when our economy picks up again.
Donc j'entends ce que vous me dites.
So I'm hearing what you're saying, but can you be clearer? Will you look for solutions? Is there in this bracket of possible solutions? Will there be a requirement to reimburse those tickets? We're currently looking at what other countries, other authorities are doing. We are talking with airlines. We're hearing those preoccupations from Canadians that want to have their money back, but also want to have an airline industry in the future that we will need. And find this right balance will be very important.
Canadians both want to make sure they're not out of pocket, but they also want to know that we do have a future for our airline industry in Canada. It's an important thing for Canadians to continue to have airlines in this country. We need to make sure we're getting that balance right, and we're making it through this in the right way.
Glenn McGregor, CTV News. Prime Minister, I want to ask you about the airline tickets again, because your two previous responses were not clear. The federal government is the regulator of Canada's airlines. Will you use that power and authority over them to insist the people who paid for tickets and were not given refunds get those refunds?
This is an important issue to Canadians that we are working with the airlines and with Canadians concerned on. We're looking at what other countries have done in these measures, and we're looking to make sure that Canadians are supported financially through this time, but that also we're going to come back with airlines that function here in Canada for the long term. Getting that balance right will be delicate, but it is something that we're working on.
But Prime Minister, don't you see this as fundamentally unfair that people bought tickets, may never be able to use them, and are now given vouchers instead that they can't use? Don't you just think it's a matter of fairness and it's the right thing to do, whatever the issues the airline industry is facing right now?
This is why we are working with all concerned parties to try and find a solution.